Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm so happy that you're here today because we're doing one of those videos where we're looking at the G1 iteration of something that was just announced as getting an upgrade. Well, sort of, kind of. We're going to look at the entire G1 team of the Battle Squad in the latest GotBot True review. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, that's right, please hit the notification bell. It lets you know when we have new content of all sorts going up. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, Transformers Collectors NL, and the Autobot family. And I said that in a way, this group kind of was being updated. Well, 2 out of 6 of the members are being updated. Specifically, the 2 members that make up the cannon truck. See, there's a plane. There's 2 that go together to make up an anti-aircraft thing, and then there's 2 to go together to make up a tank truck thing. I'm sure there's a proper name on it. One of them in particular is named Direct Hit. He is the leader of the group. And I'm going to tell you now that in the review, when I'm doing his conversion, you have to pull his head up. There's a little tab there. This is not my set. It belongs to a good friend of the channel, Wayne. I was very uncomfortable pulling that head up, and I believe in the actual review I only got it up part way. So I'll tell you now that Direct Hit has a glorious orange face. I don't think, unfortunately, it is shown, here in the review. But yeah, you pull up his head. Are these guys good? Are these guys not good? Maybe some of them are good and some of them aren't. I can tell you this: one out of these 6 has one of my absolute favorite names for any character ever. But enough of me babbling on. Let's head over to the table and take a closer look at these guys. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think that the Battle Squad came out in probably 1990, and they were Decepticons, of course, in Japan. They were an Autobot team. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think that there were any changes made to the molds or the deco. I think that they were just identified as an Autobot team, maybe a couple of Autobot teams. I'm not so sure. Nevertheless, I know them as Decepticons, and in the upcoming Siege line, 2 out of the 6 of these members are also going to be updated as Decepticons, and I've said it once, I'm going to say it again: you can never have too many Decepticons. The team is made up of the Cannon Transport, comprised of Direct Hit and Power Punch. It's made up of the Anti-Aircraft Vehicle, comprised of Meltdown and Half-Track, and finally the Blackbird Jet. And that would be Fireshot, and I love this name, one of my absolute favorite names of any Transformer, Vanquish. I just think that's cool. Second probably only to Onslaught. And since I like Vanquish the best, why not begin with the duo that makes up the Blackbird plane? Fireshot is the ever-paranoid guy, always wondering who's talking about him, and he is accompanied, of course, by Vanquish, who is kind of silent, brooding, sort of conniving and scheming because he does have aspirations to be the leader of the group. He's not the leader of the group. I said that these guys are a combiner. Well, they are because there's a front and a back half, of course. In terms of the coloring, how can you not love this color? 10, absolute 10 there. We separate them. When we separate them, we bring the arms of this guy down. How do I get his head up? There. We bring his head up, his arms down. We straighten out his legs. We flip up the nose cone piece, and we'll stand him up. For this guy over here, we flip back the wings so that they're out of the way. We flip down the legs, and we just bring his little arms forward, and there's Vanquish. I'm going to try and get in just slightly closer so we can see these guys a bit better. And what a weird little duo we have here. When it comes to Fireshot, he has elbows, but his shoulders can't move at all, so he can only bend his elbow up. He can get in a seated position, but his lower legs are just one piece, I guess because it has the like nose cone section attached to it. So he's actually kind of hard to stand up. Then we get to Vanquish over here, and his arms have no elbows, but they can't go all the way around because we have plain bits back here, but they can go out and go up and down. He can get in a seated position. His lower legs are two separate pieces, so he can kind of bend one knee at a time, even though the knees are connected. Out of these two, I think that the clear winner is Vanquish. And next up we have our anti-aircraft tank truck made up of Meltdown and Half-Track. Though his partners do like to sometimes call him half-wit because they can't really understand what he's saying because he speaks so quickly because of his intense enthusiasm. Very much like Blur, except for the Decepticons, and because he likes shooting Autobots down out of the sky. Meltdown is on the verge of a meltdown. He's always just angry and just a big ball of rage and likes to go in guns blazing and ask questions later. That being said, this is one of those rare occasions where these two can be separated and the back half can operate under its own, can drive under its own power. Like it doesn't need to be hooked up to the front half. The front half is Meltdown, the back half is Half-Track, which I suppose makes sense since it has tracks and could arguably be a half-track. In terms of conversion, well, in terms of color, I love the mix here of the red and purple. Purple is my favorite color, so I dig this. Up to 10 again, why not? In terms of conversion, we come to the front half here, and we flip down the legs, and I'm going to stand him up now. That being said, the arms are supposed to come out and unpegged. They're really, really tight on this copy. It's not mine. It belongs to a friend of the channel, Wayne. I am not comfortable taking them out. He does not like to stand very well. And when it comes to his partner, we straighten down the legs, we bring down the arms, and that's what we have. And yes, I absolutely admit that these two were a mess to transform. Here's why. When it comes to Meltdown over here, his arms on this copy will not untab, and I'm not forcing it. Which means his articulation is compromised. The arms should be able to go all the way around. He does have two separate feet. He can bend his knees independently. He can get in a seated position, but the front of his leg is so big that it really makes him not able to stand up well because he doesn't really have heels. In terms of his partner over here, I keep wanting to push down the section over his head and I keep popping it off because it doesn't push down. That's why we had a cut earlier, because I was after really messing it up and had to kind of go back and fix it and start again. I like the way the arms come down, that's cool. I don't like the lower legs, but I love the yellow on his face and I love the orange on Meltdown's face. I absolutely dig the look of the robots. I don't find them to be the most functional of the team. And finally that brings us to the final combiner members of the team, that being Direct Hit, the incompetent leader who's probably been promoted beyond what he's actually capable of doing because he can't really do anything. And the power of the team, Power Punch. Direct Hit is the front of this vehicle and Power Punch is the back of this vehicle, the guy with the big cannon. We separate the two of these, we come here to Direct Hit, we flip out his legs, we stand him up, his arms come forward, and then there's a little, like, tab back here that's a nuisance to get to, that I don't like. There. And you gotta pick up the little tab to pick his head up. Not a fan of it. But there he is stood up. Then we come to Power Punch here. And with Power Punch, we bring those arms forward, we bring the legs down, and that's that. I think it's one, yeah, that's one piece. And the arms are a little wonky on this one. And this is a weird duo. Okay, Direct Hit is fine. He's your typical Micromaster with the arms that can go around, and I don't like the way his head comes up. It feels like if you pull on it too hard, you're going to break it. His legs are fine, but then we get to Power Punch, who's supposed to be the muscle of the team, and it looks like he has a bicep and then a fist. The stumpiest arms almost of any Transformer. His lower legs are one piece because he has a cannon on the back of his legs that doesn't come off or move up. I wish that was, I don't know, on his back. This is one of those cases where I firmly believe that an update is needed for these two, and that I think the Siege one is going to be exponentially better. So what about an overall score for this team of 6? Because I started kind of giving one earlier, and I sort of trailed off. Because I decided, you know what? I feel like the team is going downhill. In terms of color, they're 10. It's fine. I mean, they don't really have much to compare to. They're G1. It is what it is. We're going to say it's 10. In terms of transformation, most of them are fine. A couple of, neat little tricks, but also a couple of, lazy things done. Like with Power Punch, the way his legs just expand out with the cannon on the back of him it's lazy. There's things I like, things I don't like. I'm going to say that the transformation overall is 7. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. I'll say 7. It's alright. Then we get to the articulation. A couple of them have your typical Micromaster articulation. A couple of them have a couple of interesting things like the elbows on Vanquish, even though... Is it Vanquish that has the elbows? I think it's Vanquish that has the elbows. No, it's not. My apologies. It's not Vanquish. It's Fireshot who has the elbows. But the arms don't move otherwise. I don't know. Power Punch is not good. I'm going to say that the articulation across the board it's about 5.5 maybe. As an overall team, this team is probably about a 6.5 to 7. It's not excellent, but it looks really cool and it does add to your Decepticon ranks. This is one of those times when I say, you know what? Yeah, I really am very much looking forward to updates to these guys, and hopefully those updates are absolutely fantastic. And here we are once again, and by now you probably realize that some of them transform better than others. I really think the tail end of the cannon truck is the most lackluster of this entire group. Surprisingly, the two plane lads are definitely, I think, the best of the group. Maybe I'm just partial to that Blackbird plane. Overall, it's an okay set. I do wish that the arms came out better on, I can't remember his name, the guy where the arms were stuck. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name now. It's been a long day. Good day, just very warm, very tired. It's a fine, it's an okay set. It's really average. I think there are better combiner sets out there. However, this does exemplify something. This is a time when I'm very excited to get an updated version. I know we're only getting 2 out of the 6 members, at least 4 now, but I'm very excited to get them because I think that this is a set of characters that very much could do with getting an update and maybe an upgrade along the way. Anyway, let me know what you think about this set, or if you had it back in the day when you were a young lad or lass yourself. I'd love to hear from you guys, always. Yeah, thanks for dropping by. Give me some of your very valuable time. Please hit that subscribe button. It helps me out so very much. Again, please hit that notification bell if you're in a position to help the channel. There is a donation link down in the description, and I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit either in the live streams or right here inside the videos.